All right, guys, I happen to have a tattoo sleeve, a little bit of a shitty mustache. So I do fall into the category of a hipster. And when I tell you that I've been watching and commenting on Joel Seedman before it was cool, I mean it. I guess you could say I'm a hipster commenter on YouTube. But for real, I'm excited to dive back into Joel Seedman one more time. And I realize that when I give him attention, it only just adds more people to following him. But to be honest, if that promotes his style of coaching and he gets more money because of that, and he feels no shame at all, then so be it. I really don't care. I just think, for your sake and mine, this is pretty good content and I have a lot of fun with it. So before we get into Joel Seedman, in general, these, what I've called functional coaches in previous videos, their whole thing is specificity and convolution, and they kind of use it as a weapon. So when you look at sports performance, you need to think about, like, what are you trying to accomplish in the weight room? And the way that I think about it is, if it's not in competition prep or in the competitive season, our goal is, one of typically three things. It's either gain functional tissue, muscle mass, gain strength, so make that tissue stronger, and then make that tissue more capable with higher capacity, whether that's power or even more endurance. You could actually have more of an endurance phase before all of that as it pertains to your particular sport. So when it comes to specificity, obviously, the closer you get to your competition season, the more specific you want to get in your training. The problem with these functional coaches is that they use specificity as a weapon, saying that the typical barbell squat or basic gym movements that are proven to grow muscular tissue, they're not good enough. They're not specific enough. And the only reason I can say that this is legitimized is their claim is because it helps promote whatever they're selling. I keep saying this. At the end of the day, Joel Seedman is selling his book, he's selling his training, and what has set him apart, and it is pretty interesting, is like these very high variable specific movements with incredibly convoluted descriptions of these movements. And when there are people who are also strength and conditioning coaches or who are in the fitness field, they see stuff like this, and because it's confusing, because it's convoluted, they become attracted to it. And slowly but surely, Joel Seedman has amassed a serious following on Instagram, and he coaches, some elite athletes. And that's another one of these biases as well, is like he continually will use these elite athletes that he coaches to promote his coaching even further, even though that sort of fallacy doesn't actually prove the efficacy of what he's doing. And so I just want to go into, my history with Joel Seedman, and then we can move on. The first video, I think one of the first that I made about him, was his claim that 90-degree squatting or squatting below 90 degrees was dangerous. Not only was it less beneficial, but it was actually dangerous. I kind of learned my lesson because Dr. Sam Spinelli and I went and took a very scientific approach to all of his claims, and we broke them down and we explained why all of his claims were wrong, even in the eyes of science. But apparently that doesn't matter, right? Apparently he can continue to bring on all of these studies, all of these different things to back whatever he's saying, and make it so deep and just cluttered with absolute jargon that no one can prove him wrong. Later on, I did a video with Alan Thrall that I recently uncovered and put on my Instagram. Man, that was a ton of fun. I have it up on my Instagram, so you can click and watch it there, but you can also go to Alan's channel and watch that video as well. But I recently stumbled back on it, and it is hilarious. Again, it's back in 2019, so I was doing this before any of you guys. Okay? No, I'm just kidding. So there's also this post on Instagram that I just found to be hilarious, right? So this was like one day into COVID where everyone was locked down, and everyone was releasing their body weight fitness programs, which was just cringy to say the least, but this was the most amazing one of them all. Yep. This is real. This is really what he's prescribing. Not push-ups, not air squats, not lunges, not pull-ups, not sit-ups, these. Okay, so we already know where this guy, like what this guy is all about. What is no one else doing? And I'm gonna do that. If someone else has done it, it's not good, which is not a great way to approach anything, right? If someone else is doing it, do it, prove that they work, and then you'll be fine. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you do something. So we'll go check out Joel's Instagram right here. And God, when I look through this, it's like, what is this?
Nice, there we go. That's the way. Good, perfect. That's the way. Good.
I get it. Like,
right, excellent.
I understand it, right? I understand the physiology of what's happening, right? There's an offset load. It's pulling in one direction. He has to use his core to like resist that. I get it, okay? But like, look at this. Look at half kneeling offset barbell hold crushes the core, particularly the obliques and smaller muscles of the lumbopelvic hip complex, while also working the abductors and adductors. Also produces a great functional stretch in the hips, making it a great tool in core stabilization and hip mobility drill. Offset barbell planking ab rollouts. The goal here is to synchronize on this one. Offset barbell. Is to help synchronize both sides. Be prepared for some extreme core and ab activation, as each end of the bar will move and feel quite different from each other. In essence, the loaded side will feel as though it's stuck to the floor and the greater friction causing some extreme upper body and core activation. Glute ham raise, yeah, can't just do a normal glute ham raise, gotta be an offset barbell row. I get it, okay, I understand. You're offsetting it, you know, it might work. It might work. It just looks ridiculous and it's incredibly convoluted, and you're playing defense every time you do this. Every time he posts a video with just like look at this. Here I'm performing one of the most brutal push-up and core exercises I've ever done. Everything's the most brutal. Everything's extreme. Look at this. Hey, Johnny, can I get a hand? Can you wait till I put this barbell underneath me, load these two plates, and then like I'm gonna walk this back and forth. Everything he does has to be new. It has to be novel, and it has to be the hardest thing he's ever done. Let's see if we click something else and he says one of the most brutal or hardest. Oh my God. Oh my, look at this setup, dude. When I did this shit with Alan Thrall, I was laughing the entire time, and yet like, he's doing it. Oh, here we go. Here I'm performing one of the most challenging push-ups I've ever done using the chaos/anti-chaos method.
"11 minutes later."
The chaos pull-up is an exercise introduced in the fitness industry a few years ago. Article link below. While I've seen many folks perform it since then, there are typically several flaws. Mainly, they don't control the oscillations and they let the band bounce too much. Look at this. Look at all the text. Read more about the chaos pull-ups in the full article. Yep, it's just the same. Chaos/anti-chaos. I'm sorry, dude. That makes me want to cry. But you can see, like, just scroll through. Like, I don't even have to click on this for you to know. Like, look, like, what? Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. If you went into your gym and you saw this, like, what? I don't know. Oh, this is great. Let me get that dynamic hip extension, of course. NFL free agents and GSP sponsored pros. Cool, man. Nice. I consistently implement Olympic lifts and variations with my athletes to improve explosive power speed. Unfortunately, the force vectors produced from free weights don't perfectly match up with how the hips and glutes function. Cool. I'm sure you've got plenty of science in that in your articles that no one's going to read. So we can't question you at all, Dr. Joel Seedman, until actually I read them and prove them to be bullshit. In one of my videos, I did that. So go check that out. It's quite easy for athletes to perform the Olympic lifts without emphasizing hip drive and triple extension. Another term that is incredibly overrated. Triple extension is incredibly overrated as it pertains to Olympic weightlifting. When you're exploding forward off the blocks in track and field, or actually just running forward, triple extension does matter because the force is actually going forward. So when the force goes forward, you're actually planting you're planting your toes into the ground. Therefore, when you push, you can actually push off. The vast majority of weightlifting, that extension in the ankle is after effect of the extension from the knees. And the hip extension, contrary to what people believe, is not actually as important in weightlifting as we think it is, or as most people think it is. Just like, do me a favor and just don't talk about weightlifting. Key is producing explosive power. Dude, this is crazy. So he knows that he's doing an Olympic movement, so he is bringing it right here with defense. With that said, here's 7 reasons why applying RNT to cleans and snatches is so effective. Oh, here's 7 reasons. 1, applying RNT. Read more in the full article with 7 benefits. Nah, I'm good on that. That's right, I'm not a fan of sissy squats. In fact, I just released an article on my website that no one's gonna read, describing the downfalls of sissy squats, as well as highlighting 12 superior substitutes. Here's one of them: a makeshift jammer Zercher squat on the balls of my feet using a forward torso lean. And yes, this is along with 12 other exercises in my article, are far superior to traditional sissy squats, but also for functional strength and hypertrophy. Honestly, guys, I don't want to talk about this guy anymore. Check out his channel or his Instagram and really just admire the fact that this guy's gone so deep into what sells and what works for him that it's actually leading to success. And the shitty thing about all this is, like, you see this in the fitness industry, and like a guy like Philion is continually calling out bullshit in the fitness industry because it exists like on a massive scale. But I'm telling you right now that in sports performance and in weightlifting, CrossFit, the world of, I guess, a little bit more athletics, there's plenty of bullshit pushers out there. Just be wary of them, and I'll see you in the next video.